Hello, beautiful souls. This is Lizz, Grace, Christie of Galactic Mythology, here with another weekend goddess report. This one is for December 20th through December 23rd. And can you believe it? This is the second to last goddess report for the year 2024. Wowzers. And also, if you cannot tell, I lost my voice, but luckily I am in progress of finding it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. So if you tuned in last weekend to the last goddess report for December 13th through December 16th, you know what's coming up next. It's a I told you so. In this case, that's in the third person because I'm largely directing that statement at me, the I told you so. How was your last weekend, y'all? That Gemini full moon? Did you lose yourself? Did you lose your voice? This weekend is all about rediscovering ourselves and rediscovering our voice. There's a lot more room for mental clarity since Mercury stationed direct last weekend on December 15th. This clarity appears to come with a caveat of uncertainty. Before we dive further into the aspects, I would like to share that next weekend, or rather this coming Tuesday, the 24th, I will be hitting the road to sunny California to visit my mother and father in the Central Coast. I plan to take my trusted microphone with me, and I am praying that I will be able to find a quiet space to record next weekend's episode. So stay tuned. Beyond that, on December 29th, I plan to be in the Los Angeles area, visiting a friend and mentor of mine, Thomas Miller. We decided to host a meet and greet on December 29th at the Los Angeles Arboretum from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. For those who are not familiar with Thomas Miller and his work, Thomas is a seasoned professional audiobook narrator. Thomas has narrated audiobooks for astrology legends such as Stephen Forrest and Ray Merriman. He is also a podcaster for 3 podcasts that he produces and hosts weekly, them being Subconscious Mind Mastery, the Fun Astrology Podcast, and Old Soul, New Soul with another renowned astrologer, Robert Glasscock, a man who studied under Linda Goodman, which I am sure you are all familiar with. Linda Goodman is responsible for books such as Sun Signs and Love Signs, books that played a huge part in easing astrology more into the popular zeitgeist of Western culture. Thomas is a modern astrological rock star, in my opinion. Discovering Thomas in 2020 from his podcast, Fun Astrology Podcast, it's mind-blowing to think that I'm now a consistent guest speaker on that podcast. And as of recently, Thomas asked me to start doing every Tuesday forecast on Fun Astrology. So you can hear my voice. Yes, this sick voice, but in the future, it will be the healed, healthy voice that you are familiar with on the Fun Astrology Podcast. In fact, I'll be on there on December 24th, and I've already had several episodes, at least 2 weeks worth of Tuesdays that you could catch up on if you're curious. Carrying on, this meet and greet Thomas and I plan to host has mostly been promoted on Thomas's channels, and now I'm sharing it with you all here on Galactic Mythology. My small but growing fleet of 270 some odd followers, you're invited. So if you are in the LA area on December 29th and it is feasible for you to come and join us at the LA Arboretum, I'd love to meet you, and Thomas would too. Our itinerary for the day is rather flexible. I do plan to share a presentation on Pluto and Aquarius and how it is affecting us individually and as a collective. But beyond that, we plan to spend the time chatting astrology with like-minded folks. Also plan on getting to know one another and enjoy beautiful plant life around us. So if you are listening to this and this invitation lights you up, then I'll see you on the 29th at the LA Arboretum from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Also, if you are genuinely interested in this meetup, please email me so that I can keep you in the loop. You can email me at galacticmythology@gmail.com, or you can go to my website and contact me through my contact form on my homepage. Okay, that's done. Let's talk transits for December 20th through December 23rd. What my little eye sees in the sky is a very late Sagittarius sun making its way closer and closer to Pallas Athena in Capricorn. They share a wide orb of about 10 degrees at the start of this weekend, Friday, and at the end of the weekend, at the stroke of midnight on Monday, the 23rd, we see the sun and Pallas at a 7-degree orb. Whatever is building between the sun and Pallas isn't as intense as what has been building between Uranus and Vesta all throughout this last week. Leading into this weekend, December 20th through the 23rd, Vesta in Libra has been working on and applying inconjunct aspect to Uranus retrograde in Taurus. Have you been feeling the heat? I have, and I know some peers of mine have too. I've observed many experiencing interpersonal chaos and strange electrical malfunctions all throughout the week, despite Mercury station direct last weekend. Interesting, eh? I think this has something to do with the tense inconjunct between Vesta and Uranus. Not to mention Jupiter is still retrograde in Gemini, so Mercury Gatorade might be over, but the electrical storm is still here and thriving. In fact, as I'm recording this now, we're experiencing peak solar flare energy. Interesting, right? Before I get carried away, let's roll into interpretations. Something came over me while I was driving to my art studio the other day here in Portland. You know how one can get in somewhat of a meditative state while driving, a path well known? And that thing was an epiphany that this week is a week of epiphanies. Funny, Mercury stationed direct on December 15th in the sign of Sagittarius, a sign all about absolute truths, higher faculties of thinking, and belief systems. Everyone had their fingers crossed that once Mercury went direct, that the wacky and unpredictable energy of our current state of existence would calm down. However, what I have observed is an amplification of retrograde energy, or at least things under that sort of classification. We've grown a little accustomed to the disorder, and now it's time to see things for what they truly are. Ladies and gentlemen, please take off your 3D goggles. This is real life, baby. And now that the goggles are off, we are experiencing a mass illusion of chaos. No more excuses. What you see is you. What you see under those 3D goggles are not you. And now you have to carve a path out of the illusion of disorder you are unaware that you fell behind. Sometimes acting like it's all fucked up, excuse my French, is actually a deflection shield against acknowledging real truth. And guess what? Vesta and her virgins are here to flash some real truth in your face. However, her inconjunct with Uranus is an inconjunct, which means it's out of sight. So this truth will likely rise from within you. Libra is a sign that is linked to justice and the courts, and Sagittarius is the judge in that courtroom. Things may be exploding around us, metaphorically and physically, but everything is not all fucked. Excuse my French again. I would hope that whatever truths have surfaced for you in this last week, you are recognizing. Because if you are not seeing a glimmer of hope yet, then stop blaming your circumstances and start accepting where you are right now, warts and all. We will enter Capricorn season on Monday, the 23rd, and once the sun comes to meet Pallas by the turn of the new year, you'll see progress in your situations. However, if you do not hunker down and get to accepting yourself and others for where they are right now, you're going to have to play cosmic catch-up with everyone else who is living and breathing with the strangeness of these times. So, since I lost my voice last week and I am only now starting to gain it back, I'm going to leave this report here. Tune in next week to see if I find a quiet place and to see and hear if my voice is fully back to its beautiful, correct state, and maybe see you on the 29th in Los Angeles. Oh, and also, always take what resonates with you from this report and leave the rest behind. Stay strong, love yourself, show kindness to people who are struggling, be courageous enough to not let yourself and those you care for to hide behind that perceived notion of chaos. The world is changing and so are you. I'm Lizz Grace Christie of Galactic Mythology, signing off and sending you so much love to you and yours. Cheers!